As World Youth Day 2016 in Krakow is approaching, what is Aid to the Church in Need's involvement in World Youth Day?
Aid to the Church in Need has been supporting World Youth Day for many, many years, and we see it as a crucial part of the charity's outreach to be able to enable young people from very different parts of the world to come and take part in what for us as Catholics is a hugely important period of reflection, of prayer, and of encouragement to one another as we continue on our journey of faith. And so we're very delighted to be involved in this programme for this year. And it's very exciting that so many different people, in fact, 3,500 altogether, young people are coming to World Youth Day from different parts of the world because of the work of Aid to the Church in Need.
What countries are these young pilgrims coming from?
Well, we've got about 25 coming from Egypt, from Cairo Diocese, and then we've got a further 15 or so from Addis Ababa. We've also got 50 or so coming from Sudan. And then in other parts of the world, we have from Iraq 225, and then from Haiti 160. So a huge number there. And also not forgetting the number who've come from Ukraine, got 2,000 or more from Ukraine. So that's a tremendous spread across different parts of the Middle East and into Ukraine as well. But also there's ones coming from, looking at my list here, I can see ones 160 from Haiti. There's the whole group who are coming from places like Macedonia, and even some from Eastern Asia, the likes of Burma as well. So a huge number coming from very different parts of the world.
What logistics go into organizing the travels for youth coming from countries that may not be friendly to the Church?
We have a project team who are responsible for working with the local bishops, who in turn are able to put in place the necessary measures that are necessary, not least organising visas and so on. But fortunately, we're following a path that's tried and tested, and it's the sign of that it works is evident in the sheer number of people that are coming, and we hope to be able to build on this in years to come.
Would you tell us about your travels and personal experiences visiting locations where Aid to the Church in Need is active?
Yes, I was in Syria back in January and February. I travelled there with Aid to the Church in Need, and the objective was to see firsthand what is going on, especially for the Christian community, knowing that they do suffer huge persecution and there's endemic poverty. And we went to the real front line, if you might call it, of persecution. Places such as Homs, which at the time we were visiting were still under daily bombardment. But we were able, with the help of the Bishop Silvanus from Homs, to be able to go and visit some of the communities and see the dangers and the dangers that people face in so many parts of that city. And I remember one particular story that stays with me since that time, and involved meeting a priest by the name of Father Jihad. He is from Homs, and he explained that every day he crosses the centre of Homs with a very direct threat of violence and bomb blast. And when we met him, he was delivering aid to the Church in Need aid. And he said that after 30 years as a priest, he felt that only now was he really experienced the fullness of his priesthood. And he said that in the Eucharist we share, and God gives us this chance to share. And the way we share is not just through spiritual means, but through practical means. So our thanksgiving to God is that we are given the chance to share. And he made the point that warmongers, by definition, do not want to share, but it's a mark of our Christian faith that we want to share. So this is something that very much demonstrates our philosophy, our approach as a charity to a situation of enormous crisis where we're providing aid, practical support, food, medicine, shelter for many thousands and thousands of people. And I saw that aid being distributed for myself, both in Syria and in neighbouring Lebanon, in Zakhle. So that was fantastic. And then a couple of months earlier, I visited Pakistan to see the work that the charity is doing in another situation of great privation and persecution. And there was able to visit the many communities that are receiving support, seminarians receiving funding from Aid to the Church Need, churches that were newly opened thanks to the funds that our benefactors had provided, support for sisters, caring for people who are marginalised and have been cast aside in society, and also catechesis and Christian education. I saw the centres where this is taking place and met many of the young people who were receiving the catechetical training so that they can go out and become catechists, working in very, very difficult situations, but offering a light of hope for many whose lives are marked by darkness and oppression and great poverty.
What is the history and mission of Aid to the Church in Need?
Aid to the Church in Need was founded in 1947. The founder was a Dutch Norbertine priest by the name of Father Werenfried van Straten. Its task is to provide pastoral and emergency support for Christians and others who suffer persecution. We are at work in 140 countries around the world, and the main bulk of our work is pastoral, so we're supporting the construction of churches, we're training seminarians, we're providing mass stipends for priests in places of persecution and oppression, we're training sisters, we're supporting sisters, we're building chapels, we're providing catechetical materials, not least the Child's Bible and other core aspects of our faith. And the charity now is supported by more than 25 different national offices around the world, not least in Europe, many of the countries in Europe, but also an expanding network that includes, as well as Chile and Brazil, but also Mexico, and then Malta and South Korea. And we're expanding the work of Aid to the Church in Need, so this awareness of the charity's work is spreading further and further afield, enabling the charity to live out the vision of the founder, which was to bring faith and hope to a people suffering greatly. And this is all at a time when there's been a massive upsurge of persecution, particularly against Christians who are threatened with extinction from the Middle East, which is now the main focus of our work because of the problems that so many people face. And we're trying also to speak up for religious freedom and to put across a vision of religious freedom that both speaks to the truth of the Catholic faith, but also recognises the right of all people to be able to practice their faith within the confines of law and order. So this is what we're trying to do at a time when the need for religion to play a positive and practical role in society is more important than ever.